Yo, it's MKBRAD and welcome back to the next module of the official Sasuke Uchiha course. In today's module, we're talking about swag. Now, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about because I actually don't talk about it that much. You never really hear or you never really see YouTube videos where the title is how to have more swag. Swag is one of those things, is one of those words that has a connotation of you either have it or you don't. Right? If it's one of those words that people are like, oh, that guy has swag, but I don't. I'm here to tell you that swag is something everyone has because it is a very subjective term, meaning it is very unique to the individual, right? It's not something that is something you can go buy from the store. It's not a tangible thing that you add on to your personality. It's something that we're all born with, but we suppress. But anywho, we're going to talk about Sasuke Uchiha's swag and, of course, how we can apply this exact trait into our own lives. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, MKBRAD, what is your definition of swag? If I had to define swag, I would say that swag is one's ability to project their unique individuality. Let me say that again. Swag is one's ability to project his unique individuality. What do I mean by this? Very simple. You being yourself. When an individual is truly and genuinely from the hearts of hearts themselves, the way that they are in their rooms, the way that they are in the shower, the way that they are when they're alone, right? They are projecting true, genuine swag, true charisma. Why? Because swag is a subjective thing. Like I said, it's unique to every individual. It's not something that you can copy from another individual. You can take notes and you can study another individual, but at the end of the day, swag in its truest form, in its most raw, unfiltered form, is your own personality that you have to figure out and project for yourself. And remember, this is why I said a lot of people think that swag is something that you rather have or you don't have because they see an individual with swag and they're like, well, I want to have swag. And then they try to have that other individual swag. They try to copy or mimic that individual with swag and they can't do it because they're trying to be someone else. Whereas swag is something that is internally in yourself. You cannot mimic it. You can't copy it. You can't replicate it. It is something that you have to express within yourself. It's something that you have to unfold. You can't attain swag. You have to unfold it. You have to unfold it. You have to get to the root of who you are in order to project it. I hope that made sense. And if it didn't, let me know in the chat of this course. This is another reason why I love Discord and I'm putting the courses in Discord. This is because I can do things like have a chat for the course, which I don't see a lot of you guys using, but use the chat in order to talk about what you've learned in the course, or even if you have any questions for me, yada yada. Anyways, I digress. So let's talk about Sasuke's swag, right? We love Sasuke mostly because of his swag. Let's cut the bullshit. Like, Sasuke stands out to us, at least in my own personal experience. He stands out to me, yes, because of all the traits that we talked about in the YouTube videos, you know, the focus, the drive, determination, his smoothness with girls, yada, yada, yada. But the one thing that really made him stand out, right? Because other characters, Naruto has drive and ambition and focus and work ethic and discipline. Rock Lee has discipline. You know, Neji has work ethic, right? Orochimaru doesn't have any of those things. But the reason Sasuke stands out even amongst those people is because he has swag. So let's start off with the first thing with swag, right? Mentality. Bruh, Sasuke did not care or give a fuck at all. Sasuke didn't give a fuck at all. And in order to have true swag, once again, because swag is something that swag is your ability to express yourself fully. Swag is your ability to project your unique individuality. You can't do that if you're constantly thinking about what other people think about you. It's impossible. When you think about what other people think about you, you're putting brakes on your personality. You are resisting yourself. You're holding yourself back from expression. So by definition, if you care what other people think about you, you have no swag and you can't project yourself because you're constantly putting the brakes on yourself. And every time you want to take an action, naturally, you stop yourself to say, oh, well, what is that person going to think? Oh, what is she going to think about me? What are their judgments? Who gives a fuck? When you think like this, you cannot have swag. So Sasuke, one of the main reasons why he has so much swag and why he stood out even to the other characters in the show is because he didn't care, right? We saw the scene, one of my favorite scenes in Naruto is when we meet Gaara and Tamari and Gaara's brother, I forget his name, for the first time, right? And so Team 7 runs into Gaara's team, and Naruto and Sakura, they're shaking in their boots. They're like, who are these older classmen who are so scary? I want you to watch Sasuke in this scene. Watch how he operates, how cool, calm, and collected he is, how poised he is, right? He's not stepping back. He's not backing away. And if he is feeling any fear internally, he doesn't express it. He doesn't show it, right? This is swag. It is your ability to not be fazed by external reality. Is you always being true to yourself, not caring, not giving a fuck. Sasuke didn't care about Gaara in this situation. Naruto and Sakura were shaking in their boots. They're like, oh my God, who are these people? They're scary, yada, yada. Because Gaara was kind of scary back then. I'm not even gonna cap. Sasuke legitimately did not give a fuck. And you can also see this in the other Genin events, right? When they go to the Genin exams for the first time and they meet all the upperclassmen, they meet all of their peers for the first time. It's a very, very scary environment in the sense that you don't know who's powerful, you don't know who is who, you don't know who's scary, who could possibly kill you, yada, yada. And you're just one out of, there was hundreds of students in these Genin events. Once again, study Sasuke. Everyone's attention was on Sasuke. Rock Lee, he had his attention on Sasuke. Neji had his attention on Sasuke. Ino and her entire team, Shikamaru, everyone, even including teachers, were wondering who is this boy who's so quiet and poised and confident with himself. And my point is, he got all this attention because out of everyone in these events, out of everyone in the venue, out of all these people gathered together, Sasuke is the only one who didn't care. He just simply didn't care. He's in his own world. He's always just expressing himself. He's thinking about himself. He's prioritizing himself. And you cannot have swag unless you're doing these things. It's all about your mentality. So step one, do not give a fuck about anything if it truly doesn't matter. All right, and so the next thing, and this also falls under the category of mentality, to have swag, you need to truly think that you are the shit. The reason why 99% of guys don't have swag is because they truly don't genuinely believe that they're the shit. Sasuke knew he was the shit. Sasuke knew his bloodline. He knew who he was. He knew his capabilities. He knew his potential. He knew who he was. He was in love with himself, man. And the same thing goes for anybody who has swag. You take any celebrity, or you take anybody, even in your day-to-day life, right? Someone at school or someone that you know who has swag. They don't give a fuck, right, about the majority of things. They're in their own world. But two, they love themselves. They think that they're the shit. It's the same with me. MKBRAD, I have an extreme amount of swag. And this isn't me being arrogant, or this is just facts. This is something I've always been complimented on, is my swag. But I truly, genuinely, I credit this all to my family. My parents trained me to think like this. But I truly and genuinely know that I am the shit, because I am. I literally am. But you have to have this mentality. Even if you don't, you could say, fully believe it or fully have results of this mentality. You can still fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? Now, it only really genuinely works when it's genuine, right? Because swag is something that is authentic. It has to be projected from your unique individuality. You cannot fake it. So you genuinely have to think that you are a king. You have to think that you are the shit. And if you don't, you will never have swag, because once again, you'll be going back and thinking, oh, what does this person think about me, right? Or what does that person think about me? And then it's gonna stop you. It's gonna put the brakes on you. So here's how you start to think that you're the shit, right? The reason why I think I'm the shit, the reason why Sasuke thought he was the shit, the reason why any successful person thinks that they're the shit is because they are. Why? Because they worked for it. Part of actually having swag is building a strong work ethic. Part of having swag is your respect for yourself, right? Because when you have respect for yourself and you know that you are the shit, then you're ready to express yourself. So we talked about it, right? If you have a mentality where you don't think you're the shit, it's probably because you don't respect yourself, meaning you haven't put in the work that's necessary for you to love yourself. Individuals who have genuine swag, because swag is a very authentic emotion. It's an authentic thing. You have to be genuine about it. You can only be genuine about it when you respect yourself. How do you respect yourself? You go after the things that you want. You put in the work. You have discipline, which we're going to talk about in a future module. You put in the work. Sasuke had genuine swag because he was outworking everyone. Bro, we saw in the tuning exams, he outworked Rock Lee. How the hell do you outwork Rock motherfucking Lee? Well, like what? But do you see what I'm saying? In order to have swag, you need to have a work ethic, because that's going to allow you to build deep respect for yourself so that you can walk with the sauce, so that you can express yourself fully. When you have respect for yourself and you know that you've outworked every single other guy in your class, you're going to have bigger balls. You're going to feel better about yourself, aka you're going to express yourself more, aka have swag. So this is one thing, before we even get into the rest of the things, this is something that all you guys can apply immediately, because I'm sure the majority of guys aren't doing this. The reason why you don't have swag is because you don't respect yourself. The reason why you don't respect yourself is because you don't work hard at all. You're a weak vagina. You're a cunt. You're lazy. Here's another thing with depression, right? You're all these guys. Oh my God. If I hear another guy talk about how depressed they are, I might kill myself. I might genuinely just take the window in my room right now and just jump out of it and never come back. Because depression only exists if you don't respect yourself. There is not a single guy on this planet who has genuine respect for himself while simultaneously having depression. And once again, how do you build respect for yourself? Work ethic. The guys who are depressed are not working hard enough. There is not a single guy who's genuinely working on himself on a day-to-day basis with discipline and focus and grinding and going through the pain to get results, who has depression at the same time. It doesn't exist. Having a depressed life means that you are not living the life that you want. So how do you get depression? Get rid of depression? Living the life that you want. How do you get the life that you want? You work for it. You have a work ethic. You see how all your problems fall under these traits that we're going through in the course? Like they evaporate when you apply the traits that I'm speaking about. So anyways, to have swag, true, genuine, confident swag. Okay, so let's just break down the cause and effect chain of swag. To have swag, you need to be able to express yourself fully. You cannot express yourself fully if you give a fuck. So you need to not give a fuck. Your mentality must be of respect for yourself, and you must respect yourself by working on yourself, by having a work ethic, okay? So the next part of swag, which would be body language. You know, this is something I can make an entire module on about it within itself. But let's talk about Sasuke's body language. You know, how did Sasuke operate on a physical level within his body? Well, one, he was very comfortable within himself. Why? Because he respected himself, right? He was able to express himself fully. And to be able to express yourself fully, you have to be comfortable within your body. You know, so what are the traits of someone who has high, strong swag body language, right? Well, Sasuke moved slower. You turn your head slower when someone calls your name. You're not fidgety, right? Most guys are very fidgety. They're constantly touching themselves, like playing with their hands, playing with their whatever, playing with something, fidgeting their hands, fidgeting their fingers, twitching their legs, looking left and right all the time. Their eyes are always constantly roaming around the room. They're never centered. They're never grounded. They don't move slow, you know? And you can see this in your own life. When someone calls your name, when the teacher calls your name and your parents call your name, how quickly do you react? When someone calls for you, how quickly do you react? Do you drop everything that you're doing immediately and go, you call my name? Like a little beta punk? Or when someone calls your name, do you slowly put down what you're doing and then look at them after maybe 3 to 5 seconds? And then say, what do you want? Right? How do you move your body? Are you fidgety? Are you constantly shaking like you have fucking Tourette syndrome? Are you a schizophrenic? Are you smooth and calm, collected? Are you grounded within yourself? Once again, all these things go back in like a chain event. You have to, one, not give a fuck about anything, which comes from having a mentality that you are a boss, you're a god, you're a king, you're a millennial king, which comes from your work ethic. When you're working on yourself, when you've gone through pain, nothing phases you, nothing scares you. And then you have body language where you react slowly because nothing phases you, nothing off-centers you, nothing pushes you out of your groundedness, okay? So body language, once again, moving slower, taking up space, right? How do you sit? Are you slouched or are you straight up? Are your shoulders relaxed? Are your shoulders slouched over like a little weak IT nerd? Or are they centered, laid back? Even as you're listening to this, straighten up your body language. As you're listening to this, I'm doing it right now. As I'm speaking right now, my body language is nice and collected. My back is straight. My spine is straight. My shoulders are super relaxed right now. I feel like I'm getting head right now from a chick. You know, that's how relaxed I am. You know, my head is straightforward. My eyes are centered. I'm not looking around the room. My eyes are steady in front of me. And I'm just focusing on my own world, what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is just talking to you guys. I'm in the present moment, right? That's how I'm able to make these fucking modules, bro. Have you ever asked yourself how MKBRAD is able to speak for hours and hours and hours and hours? Not saying these modules are hours and hours, but the damn course is. You know, I make my YouTube videos off the fly, right? Without pausing, by the way. I don't pause. I don't edit. It just comes out. This comes from having swag. And what is swag? The ability to express yourself fully. Authenticity, right? Not trying to replicate anybody else, just being yourself, which comes from the mentality that you're a king, which comes from your work ethic. And then all these things like body language become so naturally. All right, so let's talk about another thing, which would be style. Right? And this is a huge one. And I personally, in my own life, I'm a huge student of fashion. Huge student of fashion. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see that. Especially in the future with outfits I'll be posting. But style, right? Style, once again, is a very subjective thing and is unique to every individual. And your style is in direct correlation with you expressing yourself fully, right? When you express yourself fully, you're able to find out what clothes match your personality, what clothes match your unique vision of the world. And you're able to pick clothes that actually look good on you. Most people, they dress to impress the rest of the world. Most people dress to get validation from the external reality, right? Look at Sasuke's style. Sasuke, that's actually one of my favorite things about Sasuke is his style, the way he dresses. And I forget, you know, what type of clothes that he wears. I used to remember the exact specific names, but notice how he doesn't look the same as everyone else. How he has that big snake band around his waist, right? The way he has his sword drooping from the side, the shoes that he wears, you know, the kimono that he wears. It's all unique, but it's unique to him. It fits his personality. If you saw Naruto wearing the exact outfit Sasuke was wearing, you'd be like, what the fuck? This doesn't fit him. That's the point. With style, it's all about expressing your uniqueness. That is what swag is at its essence, expressing your uniqueness. So with style, you want to find clothes that go hand in hand with who you are. So when you shop for clothes, never pick up something and be like, okay, but how is everyone else in my school going to think about this outfit? Or am I going to get validation for this outfit? Or am I going to, you know, get positive compliments for this outfit? No. When you go shopping for clothes, shoes, pants, shirts, jackets, whatever the thing may be, you always want to think about how it makes you feel exactly in that moment. And you can feel it in your gut feeling, you know, in your intuitive gut. You can feel it. This is for me or it's not for me. I'm a huge student of fashion, but when I shop, it takes me less than 10 minutes to grab at least 3 to 5 entire outfits, and then I walk out. Because I see it, I like it, I buy it. That's how you're supposed to shop. It shouldn't be I see it, I like it, but do other people think this is going to look nice for me, and then I buy it? No, I see it, I like it, I buy it. I see it, I like it, I buy it. I see it, if it feels good in my gut, it is mine. And then you take, and then guess what? You put it on, and it looks amazing on you. Okay? So style is another thing. Here is a huge one that has to do with swag, which is your voice, your vocal projection. Now, one thing that I've always been complimented in my life is my voice. People tell me all the time I have a very powerful / authentic / just dominating voice. And I get this from my dad. My dad is a public speaker. That is something he's practiced throughout his life. And so I get it from him. I've kind of got a little bit of training from him vicariously through watching him and just being around him as my father. But my voice, and voice is one of the most powerful things that you can incorporate into your swag, because once again, in order to use it effectively, in order to use it authentically, it needs to be expressed authentically. In order for a voice to be a part of your swag, it needs to be genuine. Most people, when they talk to someone, you know, and they're not being genuine, their voice sounds completely different. They sound very politically correct. They're speaking in this, oh, how are you tone, right? Very beta male, very high pitched. They speak fast. They don't speak slow. They don't take their time, right? And of course, the biggest thing is they're not loud. You can see this with guys with girls, right? Whenever some guy is around a girl that he has an extreme crush on, one, for the most part, 99% of guys don't even speak at all. They're just too scared. But when they do speak, they speak fast, they speak jittery, and they're not loud at all, right? When most guys are around their crush, they don't speak loud. They're not willing to express themselves because they don't have swag. But when you do express yourself, the guy who's the center of attention, the popular guy in school, he's the center of attention, but he's comfortable with it because he's comfortable expressing himself fully. But when he's expressing himself fully, he's the loudest in the room. All attention is on him. He has the most energy. But anyways, tying this back to voice, you need to be able to express your voice fully. And you do this by practice. You know, me even having this course, me making my YouTube videos, me having my private sessions with my students is all practice for my voice, which I've already put in 10,000 hours for. Especially with me being a music artist, right? I've had gigs where I've had to sing, yada, yada, yada. You know, one day in the future, I'm going to start a podcast. These are all ways to train your voice. You know, starting a podcast. This is one thing all you guys can do. This is practical advice. You can start a podcast and you don't even have to release it, but you can set a camera out and you can just speak and speak and speak and speak for an hour straight. You know, if you can't do an hour, do 30 minutes straight and just talk. Practice your voice. Practice having power and authority in your voice, speaking with authenticity and genuine power. You want to get to the point where you fall in love with your own voice. You fall in love with the ability to say. You know, that one of my mentors taught me that. Fall in love with the ability to say. You'll build something called the $1 Million Mouthpiece, which I have videos on, and we'll talk about in the future, especially when I make my light Yagami course, because he had the $1 Million Mouthpiece. And basically what the $1 Million Mouthpiece is, you fall in love so much with your own voice that you're able to just speak on your witty. If someone says something, you're able to reply immediately with the right words and the right authenticity and energy in your voice. You can command presence. You can command authority. You can command loyalty. And another very powerful thing is you can make a girl fall in love with you with just your voice. I know this with direct experience. Listen to the way I'm speaking to you right now. Listen to how authentic it is. It's my voice and I'm owning it. Right? So voice projection, you want to build your ability. You need to own your voice. You can't build swag with your voice if you're constantly thinking about what other people would think about you, because you're going to try to edit your voice to supply validation from others instead of just speaking naturally, speaking with your own self-respect. Okay. Does that make sense? Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this module, and there will be a part 2, maybe a part 3 of this module, because there's so much to talk about with swag, right? Right now, I'm giving the individual traits that you need to have, the individual principles of swag, but then we're going to dive deeper and deeper in the part 2 and part 3 about like more tactics that you can use for swag. But anyways, the last thing I want to talk about right now in this module is energy. Don't turn this off. This is very important, and probably the most important when it comes to swag. Don't let this go through one ear and not the other and just forget about it. Use and apply what I'm about to say. You can become a master of energy. Just because something is, you can't see with your physical eyes doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Energy exists. It is real. It is metaphysical. It exists, but you can't see it with your physical eyes. It is meta, but it is there. You can't see it, but we all can feel it. If energy didn't exist, emotions wouldn't exist. Emotions are your proof of energy being real. But anyways, you need to learn how to control your energy, right? Because if you can control your energy, you can control the energy of others around you. Because if your energy is strong enough by you manipulating it, if you become strong enough, if your energetic bubble becomes strong enough, people will be drawn towards you. And if their energy levels are weaker than yours, they will fall into your frame. So what do I mean by this? If you're talking to a girl and your energy is stronger than hers, she will fall for your frame. If you're in a group of friends and you have the strongest energetic bubble of those group of friends, you will be the leader. Everyone will fall into your frame. So what do I mean by frame? Frame is your vision of the world. Frame is you expressing yourself the most. Whoever expresses himself the most authentic, the most genuine, whoever is the most genuine, who has the most swag, who has the strongest frame, everyone else will fall under his frame. So with energy, each one of us, every individual alive, has an energetic bubble. And depending on how strong that energetic bubble is, will correlate to if people fall under that person's frame or not. right? Will follow that person or not, or will lead that person or not. So once again, an example would be girls. You're talking to a girl. The reason why most guys do not have any girls in their life is because the girl has a stronger frame than them. These guys are weak. They're losers. They're depressed. Oh, I'm depressed. Right? I'm making fun of it, but I was there once too myself. But they're weak. Because they're weak, they don't have control over their emotions. They don't have control over their emotions, and therefore they don't have control over their frame. They have no genuine swag or ability to express themselves fully. So when they do go talk to a girl and they're in a room with females and they like a female, they have a crush on the female, and the female finally talks to them, or they're finally talking to the female, and they're in a situation where they have a chance to talk to this female and potentially go out on a date with her, they collapse. They fold under pressure because the female, unfortunately, and God forgive me for saying this out loud, but unfortunately, the girl has stronger control over her emotions than the guy. That is a sad motherfucking commentary on life. Like, what have we come to? The girl, this is where society's heading. Most girls now have more control of their emotions than men. What the fuck? But anyways, if you have control over your energy levels, your energetic bubble, your energetic field, and you can control your emotions and manipulate them whenever you want and create out of thin air the emotion that you want, and you're like Sasuke, you're cool, you're calm, you're poised, you're collected. Nothing takes you off your path. Nothing phases you. Over time, you built this muscle of your frame, your vision of the world. Your energetic bubble expands and becomes more solid, becomes stronger, and becomes more attractive, so that people who walk by you or are in the same vicinity as you, they always see your energetic bubble. They can feel it. And if they see that yours is stronger and more inviting and more attractive and more comfortable and more concrete and, of course, more authentic, aka swag, they will fall under your frame and they will want to fall under your frame. So master your energy. All right, so to wrap up this entire module, what we talked about in this one, the hierarchy of swag. Okay, so how does this work? In order to have genuine, authentic swag, you need to not give a fuck about anything that does not serve you. And the only way to do this is to have the mentality of that you are a king, a god, you are excellent, and that you are the prize. And you genuinely will have this mentality if you have a strong work ethic, okay? When all those things come together, then you'll be able to do things like have strong body language, genuine body language, swag. Every time you walk, every time you move, it's authentic and people see it. They see the authenticity and they're like, who is this guy? Why does he move with such confidence, right? You'll have great style. You'll be expressing yourself via your clothing, right? And people will see you and they'll be like, oh my God, this guy looks amazing. Not only is he genuinely authentic within himself, but look at the way he carries himself with his clothing. Look at the way that he shows the world himself, what he looks like just on an external level as well, right? So you have good style. Of course, your voice will be projected in an authentic way. It will be authentic to you. It will be your true individual self, and people will notice and pick up on that and will want to listen to you. And then, of course, your energy levels, your energetic bubble will be strong. It would expand. It will grab other people, bring them into your world, and they will love it because it's authentic and it is genuine. And everyone loves a man who loves himself. Contrary to what society has taught you, which is why most of guys are losers, because they think that society wants you to be a loser. No, people place the respect on you that you place on yourself. If you respect yourself, aka you have swag, if you respect yourself, people will respect you in the exact same manner. Yep, so I hope all that made sense. That is part one of swag. These are the principles of swag, and you need to embody them if you want to carry yourself with swag and be more like Sasuke freaking Uchiha. I'll see you guys in the next module. Peace.